The final horse that I want to talk about in our horses to follow is the Big Breakaway, who I think they know is quite nicely handicapped still. And I think his last two runs were with that in mind. And I think they'll start off the season different this season. So last season they went to Haydock. They finished second behind Fontaine Cologne, before then turning up in a Welsh National. He finished second in the Welsh National behind the two Amigos, who had previously finished second in a Welsh National himself, and in front of the Big Dog. Now, that's really good form. And I think they knew that he was nicely handicapped. Hence, they then turned up in the old teamer. They didn't run again until Cheltenham, which I think was purely a fitness run. He pulled up. He was never involved. You can see he was one of only 3 horses to not reduce in odds. That was not their target. The target was the Grand National. Unfortunately, he fell at the second, which I'm sure, having been campaigned with that in mind since finishing second in the Welsh National, was very frustrating for them. I think he'll be aimed at the Welsh National again. I don't think they'll want to not waste another season, but they won't want to try and aim him purely at the Grand National. I think they'll go, we'll aim at the Welsh, see how we get on. If he wins, I think they'll then end up running in races like the graded races again. But they kind of gambled all last season after the Welsh National. It didn't quite work out, or it didn't work out. Whereas this season, I think they won't do that. I think they'll aim him purely at the Welsh National. Nothing wrong with winning the Welsh National. 85 grand to win it. It's a good race. And I think they could follow the two Amigos in having finished second and then winning a Welsh National. Whereas if he does get beat in the Welsh National, obviously he's likely to drop in the handicap. And then they could turn back up for the Grand National. If the likes of Marla Mission and Major Dundee do turn up in a Welsh National, it's going to be very, very competitive. But if some of those don't turn up and the Big Breakaway does, I think he'll go really close. And the fact that he went off a massive price for the Grand National, what did he go off? 40-1 for the Grand National? Just trying to find him. Where is he? He went off 40-1 for the Grand National on the back of he disappointed in the old teamer. People now look at his form, they'll see a P and an F and go, well, he doesn't even finish his races. So he could end up being a decent price in the Welsh National. You could get 14-16-1 about him. What did he go off last year? Went off 12s last year. If he got bigger than that this year, I think it'd be a decent bet. But it's all about what he does in the Welsh National to determine the second half of the season. If he wins it, he'll end up in graded races. If he doesn't win it, they'll then potentially aim him at the Grand National and have one more go. Because he is only 7, turning 8. It's not that he's a 10-year-old and they need to start winning races with him. So I've put him right up above that. I don't think they'll waste another second half of the season, but that kind of is dependent on how he gets on in the Welsh National. But if he does run in the Welsh National, I'd be very keen on him.